Dash.org. Thanks to the Dash DAO for sending us 32 Dash per month to promote Dash on the air. Visit Dash.org to learn about Dash. Dash.org.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
Coming up next after the news, Hour 1 of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, here at listen.freetalklive.com.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nina Maria Potts with the latest world news. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he's weighing up a high-level meeting with Russia, Ukraine, the US and EU to end the war, appealing to the US not to distance itself from talks following a call between President Trump and President Putin. US President Donald Trump says negotiations between Russia and Ukraine will begin immediately on ending the war in Ukraine, but his calls with the leaders of both countries did not elicit an immediate ceasefire. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Donald Trump says the 2-hour phone call with President Vladimir Putin went very well. He said the tone and the spirit of the conversation were excellent, and he said negotiations between Russia and Ukraine will begin immediately. But it's not clear exactly when or where that will happen, although he did suggest that the Vatican had stated that it would be interested in hosting negotiations. Although it's not said, two things are clear from this call: that President Putin did not agree to Ukraine's suggestion of a 30-day unconditional truce, and President Trump received enough reassurance from President Putin that the Russian leader was serious about peace, at a time when the White House has said that Donald Trump has grown both weary and frustrated with how the push for peace so far has gone. I'm Nick Harper in Washington.
US tariffs are expected to significantly weigh on Europe's economic growth this year. The European Union has delivered its annual spring forecast, and officials say that economic uncertainty due to global trade tensions has hit levels not seen since the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. William Denzelo reports from Brussels.
The EU's economy is expected to grow 1.1% this year, and for the euro area by just 0.9%. That's a significant departure from the 1.5% and 1.3% growth estimates provided back in November. The EU's Economy Commissioner Valdis Dombrovskis has blamed US tariffs, saying that trade uncertainty was weighing on EU exports. The German economy, Europe's largest, is expected to be particularly hard hit by the trade tensions with Washington, due largely to duties on European metals and autos. Negotiations between the EU and US are ongoing, and there are hopes that a rapprochement could improve Europe's economic outlook. William Denzelo, Brussels.
The leaders of Britain, France and Canada have threatened action against Israel if it doesn't stop a fresh military operation in Gaza and lift aid restrictions, putting Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu under more pressure. Health officials are warning of famine in Gaza. Israel's Prime Minister says a basic amount of food will be allowed into Gaza so the hunger crisis doesn't worsen. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today and tomorrow, what's next in Ukraine now that Russian President Vladimir Putin has sidestepped the very face-to-face talks with Ukrainian officials that he first proposed? He was a no-show in Istanbul last week, and while he had never indicated that he would travel there, he knew that President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine was on the banks of the Bosphorus waiting for him, and that President Trump indicated he would travel there to broker the conversation between them. Kurt Volker is a former US ambassador to NATO and during President Trump's first term, America's special